Today we're going to install the Seawater Pro on our Jeanneau 440.
I'm Patricia.
And I'm Dave.
We sold our house.
And in April of 2021, we took delivery of a brand new Jeanneau 440.
Since then, we've been outfitting and upgrading the boat with everything we will need for the cruising lifestyle.
We've been learning to sail here on the Texas coast, but we're ready to cast off the dock lines in 2023. So come join us for the adventure. Because we ordered a 2-cabin, 2-head version, Jeanneau kindly admitted putting in the second water tank, something we only discovered at delivery. This left us with only 78 gallons of fresh water and necessitated installing a water maker. Fortunately, I have the void where the tank should have been to work with. I started by laying out all the components. Alright, so here is the layout. What we did was we just attached all the filters and we got it laid out to where it'll fit in there. So now what we're going to do is Teflon tape and tighten down all these joints, and then we'll mount it in place. Right. So we have this mounted to the board here. This is our freshwater flush, and it will be plumbed in going forward to the starboard head. That water will be on the positive side of the house pump, so when this cuts on, it'll just bring water in. It'll go through this carbon filter, one-way valve here, through this, and then out and wash the membranes. This will be our inlet from the boost pump, and so it's probably going to come from over here and go in. And then here we have, this is our low pressure on our panel, and then this will go to the high pressure pump that will flow to the membranes. May have to replace that with a 90 to get enough space in there, but moving right along. After attaching the high pressure pump to the electric motor, we next had to find a proper place to mount it. The other thing is the height on this.
We down a little ways, so
you got basically 9 inches, and you know, pretty much need to go here. I don't think we got it. It'd be close right here. That'd probably be the best spot for it. All right, here we are at the end of day 2. I think we've made some pretty good progress today. I think by tomorrow we should have a lot of the plumbing run. We're still not going to be at a point to turn it on. We're not doing the through holes until later, but we should have all the plumbing that we have done in here. Don't know, probably won't get the motor mounted because we have to epoxy down a mount, but hopefully we'll get that done, and then Friday we can get the motor mounted, finish up the plumbing that we needed to get done. So yesterday I had to, this is a condensation pump for the aft air conditioning. It was located over here. Had to relocate that, this is the AC return line. It was kind of haphazardly down here. So we got our membranes mounted, and they are plumbed together down here. The pump will go about right here. It will go in high pressure there, come down here, and back out through that hole, and then we're going to mount the remote mount over here on the wall. Water infiltration, it's all complete. So this line right here will go out this hole, and it will go forward up to the starboard head, where we'll plumb it into cold water line, and that's to rinse the system once we're underway. It comes in here, goes through this charcoal filter, through a one-way check valve, and then back down through the other 2 filters, and then it will rinse this and outflow again through the panel. Day 3 starts with screwing down some wood strips for the motor mount. Epoxying in.
Epoxy buddy.
It's epoxy Doug.
It's warming up.
You know, you'd probably be good at icing a cake.
I know, it's just like icing a cake. I think you could probably do really well at this.
Yeah.
It's warming up.
So if this retirement doesn't work out, you can maybe get you a job making birthday cakes for kids. With the motor mount all epoxied in, it was time to start working on the control panel. Day 4 starts with mounting the motor and pump assembly. The epoxy on the mount is all cured, and we made a template for the bolts, so we're drilling the holes first. Next comes the mounting of the motor and pump assembly. Got our motor and pump installed, and we had to epoxy in this board, so there's some shims and stuff we put in place. We screwed those into the fiberglass, put epoxy over them, and this is all now solid, rock solid. But what you do not get is a template for the mounting, so you need to kind of figure that out. The other thing that we ran into was over here. This is for your electrical connection. Originally it was underneath here, which would have been a real pain to get a wire in. We were able to take this off and rotate it 90 degrees so we could put this in the back, because our power will be coming again through this hole right here, so it makes it real convenient. We got enough space here for airflow, and then this is the AC condenser pump that I had to relocate. Originally it was over here, and we relocated it to this bulkhead, gave us the room for the membranes. So right now I've got everything plumbed up out to the panel. So out to the panel, you got the panel right up here. The thing you need to think about is you only have 6 feet of pressurized hose. So you got 6 feet from the pump to your membrane. You got 6 feet from the membrane, and it's going to plug in on the back on this pressure gauge. So if you got more than 6 feet, you're going to have a new hose made, and there's a cost with that. So I recommend that you try to lay things out and have those kind of in mind. The other stopping point that we found was this panel does not have a template for, so you're gonna have to make a template. If you do the panel mount, you're gonna have to make a template, and there's really not a lot of room. Really, this hole is right in here, so there's not a lot of room, wiggle room, with the way things are located back there. It took a little while to kind of get it just sized just right, but not too big. So think about that when you're laying things out and where you decide this to go. Originally we wanted this to go a little higher, but what we did was we looked on the back side of this, and actually the steering and rudder stops come through here, so we couldn't go any higher, and it's going to be kind of convenient, but it's also kind of out of the way. Nobody will see it, and there's actually a mattress that'll be in here up yay high, and so I guess I'll probably just lay on the mattress and make water when I need to. All right, at the end of day 4, and we have the motor installed, we have the panel installed. What we do not have is we do not have seawater to the unit, we do not have fresh water to the unit, we do not have fresh water to the tank, and we do not have power, AC or DC. And we also do not have a through hole for our effluent brine to go out. So we got those things left to do, but we're at a good point here. I'm happy with the installation so far. I think it's going along great. I'm on the back side of the panel. I'm down in the hole, and let me show you how this kind of went together. This is where I'll be wiring up the AC and the DC motors are connected to these switches, and that wire will run up there. This goes to your TDS sensor. So I added this three-way valve, so I can actually vent overboard or put it to the tank, and I can access that through this hole here. It's actually for the air conditioning, but it pops out real easy, and so that'll give me quick and easy access to that. Alright, so I'm ready to connect up the AC wires, and there's a little diagram on the motor, but it's on the back side, so I really can't show you, but basically it'll tell you which three wires to hook up together, and polarity doesn't matter. So I'm going to nicely crimp all these together, weather tie them with some shrink, and this part will be done. Got the AC line running back here, runs back out, back to the panel, and that's going to be a dedicated fuse line. I used some 3-wire 12 gauge, and it should work fine. If you want to see a really good wiring, check out Sail Until Valhalla. I'll put a link up here, and he just installed one of these too, and it's a great video to watch, give you something to balance off of mine. So here is where we ran a new through hole, and I've attached a strainer, and then this is the pump that comes with it. This is your low pressure DC pump, and then it just kind of runs back there. Got it traveling through the cabin, and goes back to supply low pressure before the high pressure pump, just to kind of keep it clean. Alright, so here is my finished install on the Seawater Pro Water Maker. I've got the flush line coming in here, runs to just a sprinkler timer. You got 2 filters there. I had to change this out. I put this in wrong and actually caught it when I was editing the video, and that one-way valve needed to be on the other side, and when I did that I broke this T, so I replaced it with a stainless steel T. I think that'll be better, but I've got everything all wired up. And so here is the AC coming in, and everything flows out down there, and then there is my control panel. It turned out to be a pretty neat install. I would say that on a scale of 1 to 10, this is probably an 8. There were some specific skills needed to do this, and then just working in tight spaces, but it's definitely a doable. I like the fact that the kit is modular, and we were able to fit it into this space, still leave us a lot of space here if we want to store extra filters or cartridges or any sort of plumbing supplies, anything we need to service this setup.